What up, everyone? I want to share a cool testimony about hydrogen soaking or hydrogen baths, kind of like a little mini bath. Yesterday, I ended up, having a normal Sunday, taking my family to church, going out to eat, and we had been having a little issue with the car, so I wanted to check on something, and I made a boo-boo. And I touched something I shouldn't have touched, and I burned my fingers. And so it was pretty bad. I think I ended up having it started out pretty slow, and then it ended up building, and the pain was pretty intense. I thought I was gonna have to probably maybe go to the hospital, or I definitely wanted to get home as quick as possible to put my fingers into some hydrogen rich water. And I did so, and so that was at about an 8 to 9 level pain. It was pretty good. I knew my fingers were probably going to blister, and so I went home and I basically soaked my fingers for about 60 minutes the first time, and did about another 2 sessions of about 30 to 45 minutes, and the pain decreased significantly in over the course of a couple hours, and even the next day. My fingers basically don't hurt at all. And so this kind of goes into hydrogen's kind of anti-pain effects. And lastly, just to kind of here at my desk, so you can see my fingers are kind of blistering. But if you guys could actually see what they look like the day before till now, I wish I would have took some photos because this was quite awesome. But you can even see here, this was a whole big circle up here. This whole thing was a big old circle right there. But now you only see that there's a small little blister here. So hydrogen's been doing some pretty remarkable stuff up here. Same thing with this one. I had a big old blister. See if I can get it focused. Big old blister up here. And as you can see, hydrogen's been doing this thing. And basically been causing rapid healing to my fingers. No pain whatsoever. Touch on it and pretty good. Nothing. You can definitely tell I did something to my hand. But overall, pretty awesome in 24 hours. Going from basically thinking I probably need to make a trip to hospital to basically normal day. So definitely want to go ahead and invest in soaking your hand in some hydrogen water if you have any issues. Okay, so this is day 2 of reporting on my little hand injury that burned my hand. And so this is 48 hours after doing kind of targeted hydrogen therapy. So soaking my hand or my fingers into really high concentration hydrogen rich water. And so I wish I had basically a photo of what they originally look like, but basically I had blisters on all 3 fingers. This is what they look like 48 hours after that of doing some hydrogen baths, and I'll give more of my protocol in another video. All right, so as we see here, this is what my fingers look like. So this finger had a blister. This one had a large one. And this one still had a really large one as well. And it's about half gone. This is 48 hours. I've never seen or witnessed any kind of healing like this in my life. This is a rapid rate of healing on a high degree burn on my hand. Probably the worst burn I've ever experienced to date. And so I'm pretty blown away by what I'm seeing so far with this. And I'll report on day 3 and show you guys what my hand looks like. But right now, currently, there is no pain in any of my fingers. This blister is pretty much totally gone after 48 hours. This one is, you can kind of see where it was, this little circle area. But it's basically gone, no pain, sensation whatsoever. And this one's about half gone. And it still has no pain. So pretty remarkable. Hydrotherapy's pretty wild, and maybe in one of these videos I'll talk about possibly in some of the studies what my fingers is probably experiencing right now on kind of the molecular level. All right, everybody. So this is day 3 of healing my fingers with targeted hydrogen therapy or hydrogen baths for my fingers. If you guys are just catching up on this one, I basically had a kind of severe burn on my fingertips. Probably was a 2nd degree burn, and formed blisters on 3 of my fingers on my right hand. And so this is what it looks like after 72 hours of basically soaking my hand in high concentration hydrogen. This is what day 3 looks like. Once again, I had 2 large blisters on these hands, these fingers, and then you can kind of see this one on this one. It's pretty remarkable. You can kind of see where the blister was on these 2, but it's basically, I have no indication that I actually had a burn, a severe kind of burn on my fingertips 3 days ago. So it's kind of wild. This one, I did go to the gym the other day. It did look like I get this one worked up, but as you can see on this one, it's still there. You can kind of see it, but it's completely flat with no pain. So I don't know if I'm just looking at dead skin right now or what, but that's kind of what's happening. So it's pretty remarkable. Never seen anything heal this fast. And in fact, you can look this stuff up for kind of a, depending on the severity, obviously, of 2nd degree burn, but you're talking about the healing time of 1 to 3 weeks or something along those lines. To having what I'm seeing in 3 days is pretty remarkable. So I did say I was going to share my protocol, what I've been doing. And so all right, so let's go ahead and begin. So within the first probably hour after my injury, I went home and I filled up about 3 to 5 ounces. I've been using probably around 4 ounces to be about 4 ounces, 150 milliliters, something around there, of water with a few ice cubes in them. And because these hydrogen bath tablets can generate some heat, it's an exothermic reaction, meaning that when elemental magnesium reacts with water, it releases heat. And so I put a few ice cubes in there, and I dropped 2 hydrogen bath tablets within this 3 to 5 ounces of water. And that's going to be a really high concentration. You're talking about probably something like 4 milligrams of hydrogen gas is probably dissolved into that. 2 tablets is probably equivalent. 2 hydrogen bath tablets is probably equivalent to about 6 or a little bit more, probably 6. Yeah, six normal hydrogen tablets that you drink and put in your water. And so I soak my hand for basically 3 times a day for 30 minutes to an hour. And I start with 2 bath tablets, and then I'll soak. And then when that starts to dissipate, somewhere between really get a lot of dissipation, somewhere probably between 15 to 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and add another tablet. So total per soak, I'm using 3 hydrogen bath tablets. And then I did that at least 3 times the first day, 3 times the second day, and twice on the 3rd day. I also breathed hydrogen gas while I was soaking my fingers for the exact amount of time of my session. So I'm also doing not only targeting at a localized hydrogen topical therapy, but I'm also doing kind of systemic hydrogen therapy by breathing at the same time. And so that's what my protocol was, as well as I always take my normal hydrogen-rich water and drink it throughout the day. And so that's what I did, and this is the results I'm seeing, which is pretty incredible. And I'm actually holding the phone. This is the results after 72 hours. I wish I had a photo of what it looked like at the very beginning, the first hour. Massive, white, painful blisters over all 3 of these fingers. And covering the entirety of my fingertips all the way down almost to the bottom of this crease on both fingers. Yeah, this is what it is. So definitely impressive. I've been doing hydrogen therapy now for a long time, over a decade, easily over a decade, and I've had some remarkable effects. I have seen nothing that has thus far that I've experienced personally. I've seen nothing thus far that I've seen personally when it comes to hydrogen therapy heal me this fast. I've seen a lot of cool things that I've been able to have some effects for myself, and I've seen in other people. Nothing this rapid. It's pretty cool. It's actually even impressing me, and I'm the person that likes to stick with all the science and all the details and making sure we're being objective and not leaning into too much on the anecdotal evidence. But I'm gonna give you some anecdotal evidence. This is pretty awesome. All right, so that's it on for day 3. Maybe I'll follow up on a day 4, and I'll give you some extra details about how some of the studies correspond to what I'm seeing. Talk about what's probably happening on the molecular level based on the study. Day 4. So this is what it looks like after 4 days of doing basically hydrogen baths for my fingers. And this is pretty remarkable. Obviously on day 3, you saw this one was still white and still had a little bit of a blister there. But it was almost virtually flat by the end of the day, and looks pretty good now, right? You can definitely tell that my fingers were burnt. You can kind of see where they were, but to be looking the way they look is utterly remarkable. So I talked a little bit about maybe how hydrogen's doing this, and we do have several studies talking about how hydrogen can suppress the damage of burns or increase the rate of healing regarding severe burns. We have several models that talk about this, and some of the ways hydrogen is doing this, likely what's doing this with my fingers was, one, hydrogen acts as a selective antioxidant, so it can suppress further damage that's already happening, that can take place prior to the initial stimulus that caused the injury. And so hydrogen downregulates, free radicals that'll be associated with this. So the extra oxidative stress that can happen from the injury, hydrogen can suppress that. It also has anti-inflammatory effects and also anti-cellular death effects. And they've seen that hydrogen can also increase cell survival proteins. And so it can preserve tissue and enable certain cells to live. It does this by upregulating things like BCL2 or downregulating things such as BAX or caspase-1 and caspase-3. These are all different proteins that are related to BCL2 will be related to cell survival or longevity, whereas BAX and caspase proteins are related to sorry, there's a spider on my floor. Related to cellular apoptosis or programmed cell death. So hydrogen can help with suppressing further injury or suppressing the damage to the site of the burn. Also, hydrogen has been shown to increase the rate of tissue healing. And actually, one study showed that hydrogen was able to directly have direct effects on extracellular matrix and activate stem cells within skin tissue, and actually had a 3-time was a 3-time faster healing rate than the control group. And so this seems to correspond pretty well with what I was seeing as well. They've seen hydrogen also regulates a host of different pro-healing factors, such as transforming growth factor beta. It also upregulates something called insulin-like growth factor 1. These are all kind of cell survival pro-healing factors or proteins. And it can also do something really cool in the immune system. So hydrogen actually can take macrophages, which are a type of white blood cell, and are essential for inflammation and protecting of our bodies. But macrophages can either be pro-inflammatory or they can have pro-healing effects, depending on what's kind of going on with the actual macrophages. So hydrogen can do something what's called macrophagia. I think it's macrophagia polarization. So basically, it can take macrophages from a inflammation state to a pro-healing state. It does this by regulating a particular chemokine. It's another protein, a communicating protein. And so it can basically put macrophages into a pro-healing state and rebuild tissue through macrophages. It also regulates and can stimulate. And my computer just went off. It can regulate and stimulate uh, um, collagen. So they've seen that hydrogen can actually upregulate collagen synthesis and increase several different types of collagen. And so this also aids for a faster recovery and healing rate, as well as increasing antioxidants at the site of the injury. So endogenous antioxidants, glutathione, superoxide dismutase, catalase, these type of antioxidants or cytoprotective proteins. So this is probably what was going on, all this stuff and more that we haven't even discovered in my hand and my fingers. And I am just blown away by this. I wanted to share this with you all. I think it's pretty incredible to see that H2 can do this in real time and have this effect. And just one more time, I'm going to show you my hand. So there's my fingers. Here you go. You can look at them again. Man, this is nut buckets. I almost don't even feel real. So, man, so that's it. Maybe maybe I could show another video if it gets any better. But if not, this is the last one, and they look pretty awesome. And my hand feels perfectly fine. All better. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it.